Everything all but settled at Levi Stadium. Welcome to a little postgame. And Damon, it's great to have you here. 49ers, without a titanic, massive, inexplicable, we'll all have to collectively stop watching football together, sort of collapse here. They've got nothing to do but sit on a football and kneel on it a few times, and they're going to beat the Seattle Seahawks this afternoon. Welcome. We do not have a final score. We do not have our final stats, but I'll tell you, it was a game that was defined by a lack of big plays for the 49ers, surrounded by a whole bunch of big plays for the 49ers. It was kind of feast or famine out there. Not a lot of in between, not a lot of methodical drives out of the 49ers today at all. And when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks, you know, they get an awful lot of credit for the squabbles that they had in them today, a squabble that actually broke out into an on-field fight. We've had a couple of ejections. Diamador Lenore and DK Metcalf have both been run from this game just moments ago. You had a Fred Warner interception. He then flips it to Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw is running around there like with a chicken with his head cut off. Everyone's screaming at him to get down. He just goes down, and then the extracurriculars break out. And it really did look like Fred Warner might have gotten the first shove in on DK Metcalf, but Metcalf comes up, he grabs him in his face mask, scrum is happening in the field, and then all of a sudden you got Diamador Lenore coming in, dropping a two-piece, and I mean, they really weren't punches, but they were to the head, and they both been ejected. I don't even know if it was that much of an ejectable late enough in the game where I don't think anybody needed to get tossed. But the 49ers are going to go on to win a game this afternoon. Before we even get to the final statistics, I can tell you that this game was won on third down because the 49ers defense was able to get off the field more often than not on third down. 2 of 11 for the Seahawks today on third down. And Drew Lock actually played a better game than I think a lot of people could have thought. The question is, really, as we wrap up this game today, is how many more yards can Brock Purdy tack on his career high? 519 total yards of offense for the 49ers so far. And again, this game isn't even officially in the books. When you go to the box score, you see that Brock Purdy is sitting at 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception. You know, I'm not going to say it wasn't his fault, because it was. It was. Now, whether Ayuk ran the wrong route or it went off his fingertips, you know, they don't start crediting interceptions to the wide receivers. Not never. That one was on Brock Purdy more than it was on anybody else in a 49er uniform. But even a mistake is still debatable. How much of a mistake did he really make there? Was the wrong route run? Did he anticipate where, you know, was the throw wrong or was the target wrong? Either way, Seattle benefited from it. Locke, you know, again, pretty good game beyond the lollipop interception that he threw up. And, you know, he outplayed, I think, any expectations you might have had. And in a weird way, might have presented more problems for the 49ers than Geno Smith might have, based on what we've seen in the 2 looks at the Seattle Seahawks this year. I mean, we saw on Thanksgiving Seattle get absolutely pounded by this team, and they were much more competitive today. Again, the game is still happening. The 49ers are out there still running plays, even though all that really needs to happen is for this clock to expire and run out. How Kyle chooses to end this half, hopefully it'll be with less controversy than how he chose to end the first half. There's always something a little weird going on when 49ers and Seahawks play. And if we're being completely honest, I mean, I don't know what world of, you know, excuses and maybe real adjustments that he wanted to make or see or talk about before he kept on playing. Okay, we got Brock Purdy in victory formation right now, taking knees. He's got a career-high passing day, does Brock Purdy, with 368 passing yards. But it was a really weird end to the first half, and what could have been, you know, a one-possession game late in this game, it was weird to see Kyle Shanahan just throw away a possession at the end of the first half. He had the timeouts. He had a short field. It looked like points might have been available, but he didn't I mean, it was like Kyle didn't even think about getting competitive at the end of that first half for whatever reason. And he'll spin a yarn of bullshit coming up here to explain it all away. I don't know what or not to believe. I tell you, there were a few moments in this game that were just weird. It was a weird first half. It was a weird punt that I don't know if that was a call, if that was Wishnowski looking at a code red and just thinking the seas have opened up for me. I can run this fake punt for about 30 yards. Really might have been one of the greatest plays of his career as a punter, but it didn't happen because of the low block, illegal block on Ronnie Bell, which looked like he totally slipped. I mean, you know, it's still a flag, I guess, but it didn't look like Ronnie Bell tried to do anything, you know, nefarious or underhanded there. He just slipped. Either way, it might have been a moment that was a huge momentum swing in this game. And in the context of the game actually playing out, it did. It would have been a moment that had the 49ers kept on the ball there, scored the ball there, Seattle would have been out of this game earlier than it was. But give Seattle credit. You know, Seahawks kept battling. 49ers held the door open long enough to keep the game interesting, but they never really held the door open for the Seahawks long enough for this game to be something you were really worried about them losing. It happened so long ago, you hardly even remember it. Christian McCaffrey almost housing it on the very first play of the game, and ironically, I think that might have generated a little bit of the 49ers slow start with the huge fast start. I'll explain in just a second. But welcome. It's good to have you here. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We are inside of Hanukkah already. And if that's the way you swing, baby, happy Hanukkah to you. We have hung a stocking by no chimney down here, but we've hung a stocking with care. And we are really happy that you're here. Welcome to all the Plusers. It is good to see so many familiar faces. It is good to see so many new names inside the chat room. It is good to see already 200 people gathered here today. The channel's really done an awful lot to grow in the last week to 10 days. And I thank you all so very much for being here. If you're new, click like, click subscribe, all of those things. And I officially welcome you to the Hughes Orthopedics post-game show. Dr. Hughes gave my knee some platelet treatment instead of surgery. And I have the knees of, what Kobe Bryant came back with from Germany. My knees went from 48 years old to 28 years old thanks to the cellular treatment that he gave. Go to orthopedicsurgeries.com if you are interested in avoiding an orthopedic surgery and all that invasive surgical nonsense, because my man Dr. Paul Hughes is on to things. His number is on the crawl below. I will leave it up for a little while. It's how you reach out and touch Dr. Paul Hughes and make sure that you are not being touched by any theater of operation. He can fix you with some cellular replacement treatment therapy. It's really something else. It's worked on me. I know it can work on you. The 49ers, again, got to work right away this afternoon with Christian McCaffrey on the very first play of the game, going 72 yards. Basically, he cut back on the dance floor and everybody was doing a samba and he just merengued right nearly all the way to the goal line. It was a hell of a run for McCaffrey. Jordan Mason ends up punching it in. We haven't seen Jordan Mason play an offensive snap in weeks, so Jordan Mason on the very second play of the game is laying in the end zone. 2 plays, 75 yards. 49ers are literally putting points on the board faster than it took to sing the national anthem. Half the stadium still at a concession stand thinking about, do I want a beer or what do I want? Do I want a hot dog or a pretzel? I mean, boom. 49ers came out and scored right away, instantly. And I actually think that took them out of the rhythm a little bit, because the 49ers have used almost all season long this opening drive to establish offensive rhythm. Now, it didn't happen in Philadelphia, but you saw this being a 2-play score. And look, 2-play touchdowns are better than 3 and outs. I don't think I have to explain that to anyone, right? A 2-play touchdown is more preferable than a 3 and out. But if a 3 and out is bad for you because you get no rhythm, because you aren't running enough plays to establish any rhythm, technically 2 plays would be even less rhythm establishing. And I think that that's why the 49ers, they come out, they score right away, and then they have a 3 and out, and then they have a drive where, yeah, they do pick up a first down, but they end up sputtering there. And it was just sort of they almost started too well. Is that like a thing? It doesn't sound like a thing, but it was almost a thing I thought today. The 49ers took themselves out of rhythm by having such a quick scoring explosion right at the beginning of the game. And then the other, to me, definitive, real big play of this game, and it was a game for the 49ers that got full of just, it was a little bit of a feast or famine day. It was a play that went for a couple of yards or a play that was going between, 12 and 40, 50 yards almost all afternoon long. Just chunk play after chunk play after big play after big play. But the Brock Purdy pass to Brandon Ayuk, it was a 45-yard gain on first down on a drive that began with 5:58 remaining in the third quarter, and that's the moment of the game where I really thought that the 49ers seized control of the game and found their offensive rhythm for the very first time, because right after that long gainer, the 45-yarder to Ayuk, you had Christian McCaffrey getting this team into the red zone around Trent Williams just 2 plays later. And then Purdy throws a pass across his body, rolling to the right, throwing back to the left to the middle of the field, which Greg Olsen even said, you're breaking one of the quarterbacking commandments. And he was, but he gets away with things. Brock Purdy's got some talent. He can get away with things. And you saw Debo run it in one play later. That made it 21-10 49ers. And there was really no looking back from that moment. There were a couple of peaks that let the Seahawks stay in this game. And then the Seahawks, again, had that hell of a play where they had the double screens and touchdown Seattle to their tight end, their third string tight end, basically. But I tell you, I thought Purdy getting this offense going with a little rhythm to Ayuk. Obviously, Deebo Samuel has played a really good stretch of football. He's got, 5 touchdowns over his last 2 games now. George Kittle made big plays when he needed to. Again, George Kittle's big touchdown came after the 49ers scored their second half touchdown, and Kittle made it 28-16 in 2 plays just into the fourth quarter. And then you'd have Seattle make its first mistake of the day, where Drew Lock threw up that lollipop to Jair Brown, who came up with one that was intended for DK Metcalf. Then, unfortunately, instead of really putting the game away, the 49ers get a big play again from Purdy to Ayuk, but Ayuk gets the ball slapped out of his hands from behind. It was the second really big play by Julian Love in this game. But there it was. When it was all said and done, the 49ers get over by the Seahawks. And if you had them at, it was 28-16. Is that a cover for most people? I think it's 10 and a half. That should be a cover for most of you. I know that the line did go up, so hopefully you got it early if you were wagering. But when it comes down to final stats of this game, again, a career-high day of passing yards, 368 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. Brock Purdy got sacked 3 times, and it felt like Drew Lock spent most of this afternoon not getting sacked. But when it's all said and done, he got sacked a few times late, so he gets sacked 4 times, throws 2 interceptions as well. So Brock Purdy comes out and plays a very game, 19-27, maybe not his most efficient game of the entire year, but good enough certainly to get the job done. Christian McCaffrey, 16 carries, 145 yards. Guy just keeps on falling forward all the time. Christian McCaffrey had 1 catch for 8 yards, so he did most of his damage on the ground today, and McCaffrey, again, is just a little freight train. He really is. He's so talented. He's so good. He gets big. He gets small. He can run through the guards. He can run around the tackles. And today, again, with Ayuk making some big plays, with Debo making some big plays, with Purdy having a career day in terms of passing yards, with Deebo Samuel scoring a pair of touchdowns. Again, this really, I think, when Diamador Lenore, he had a little bit of an interesting and scrappy day for sure. There's a lot of hands on this win. The defensive line, Nick Bosa, who might have been used more creatively this afternoon than most afternoons we've seen Nick Bosa used in a football game. He was lining up over center. He was playing stand-up nose tackle. He was kicked inside. He was outside. He and Chase Young came from the same side at a few times. Like, it was an interesting day along that defensive line, and late in the game it bore some fruit, but they really had Drew Lock, in a collapsing pocket. Javon Kinlaw had a good day, but to me, like, if you're like, whose game was it today? How are you going to remember that one? It might have been the Mitch Wisnowski turned into a running back day, but it wasn't. Alas, the razzle-dazzle fake punt, whatever that was, did not stand. So technically, it did not happen. What did happen was Trent Williams just mollywhopping Seattle Seahawks all afternoon long. I don't know if Trent Williams has played a better game since he's put on a 49ers uniform. He was muy agresivo this afternoon. Trent Williams was fantastic all day today, and he just went out and he crushed people. Trent Williams was out there just sealing everything on his side of the field. Greg Olson's even laughing at it through the game. Trent Williams went out there and put on a clinic. An absolute clinic. And even when he got called for one penalty right after he's actually getting lauded with how great of a player he is, the old broadcaster Jenks, that penalty might not even been like a legit penalty to throw on him. There were two penalties on the same play. I think that was the Ronnie Bell play that brought back the Mitch Wisnowski razzle dazzle. I don't know. But look, it was a hell of a day for Trent Williams. He was dominant this afternoon, and I won't be surprised at all if when the Pro Football Focus grades that no one can really explain, when those puppies come on out, wait until you see Trent Williams' score today. He might have had the best score in this game. Although, again, McCaffrey was wildly efficient. Debo, very good day. There's a lot of guys who had really good days. I don't know if anybody played better than Trent Williams. Cheers and welcome. It is a 49er postgame show here. My name's Damon Bruce. After 18 years on the radio, we're over here on YouTube now, where we're, I think, better and more dangerous than ever. The channel has grown greatly in just the last week or 10 days, and I thank you all so very much. Again, please click like, even if you don't like it. Just click like for me. And if you do like it, then I'm going to ask you to go ahead and click subscribe as well. We've added 3,000 brand new subscribers in just the last week or so, like 8 to 10 days. It's been going like gangbusters over here ever since the Eagles week. So with the 49ers, a lot of people worried, let down after Eagles week. I actually thought that they had the perfect opponent to avoid that. I really do. I thought that the Seattle Seahawks served their purpose in the realm of keeping the 49ers focused, because Seattle's always got a little something for, I don't care. Like, Seattle can be having a great year, the 49ers are having a down year, and the 49ers are still a little pesky in these games more than they should, and vice versa. And look, Seattle's not having a bad year. They're having a challenged year. And for the first time, I believe, ever, they've now lost 4 in a row under Pete Carroll, which is going to be, a tough wad of gum for him to swallow for sure. But there is enough rivalry. Again, the rivers run deep enough between these teams to where after the rousing big win over the Eagles, I just thought that Seattle was really perfectly placed on the schedule, because it was going to keep the 49ers focused to where it needs to be. And when the 49ers focus on their own problems and their own jobs, they're a really, really hard team to beat. They were focused today, and they got it done. They got it done. They got it done with big plays all over the field. If you're looking at any of the reflections behind me, sorry if that distracts you, but I got to keep an eye on things here if there's any late game breaking news. And again, we are waiting for a couple of injury updates before this one is all said and done. Mooney Ward left this game early, which makes it even a more impressive afternoon based on how the 49ers went about shutting down DK Metcalf for most of the day. And Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw left this game with an injury, and we'll see how he does when it's all said and done. I think he even returned. I mean, that's the thing. Dre Greenlaw limping off the field doesn't mean he's ever going to be out of the game. It feels like that happens almost every other week. And then every other week, he's getting a personal foul for a hit on the sideline, but not this week. So, good week for Dre Greenlaw. It was a good week when it's all said and done for the San Francisco 49ers. When the season is over, I don't think this game is going to be remembered fondly or warmly, or people are going to really go back to a particular moment or two that really stood out beyond the Kittle touchdown, the Debo long haul touchdown that he had from Purdy. It was a day where they just kind of, handled their business. And it was a handle your business type of afternoon for the 49ers. It really was. And they got it done in the Trent Williams mollywop game. The first play of the game from Christian McCaffrey, again, that was a big one. Big one, right off the rip. Right off the rip. He was fantastic. 49ers' first drive of the second half is where I thought, okay, so here's where they need to take over the game a little bit. You had McCaffrey running around Trent again for a 23-yard gain, just another chunk play out of McCaffrey. Then you had McCaffrey running right for a 7-yard gain, but that's holding actually on Trent Williams. That was the holding. It wasn't on the Mitch Wisnowski, but this is the same drive. Because this all basically goes to the Mitch Wisnowski razzle-dazzle run to daylight, and they end up replaying the punt, and it erased a 30-yard gain. And that was one of those moments where I thought, well, this is how Seattle sticks around in a game like this. Because in order for Seattle to really win a game like this, I said over the week, DK Metcalf's going to have to turn into Randy Moss. He's going to have a 3-catch, or a 3-touchdown, 6-catch, 160-yard day like he did in Dallas just a week ago to really have the Seahawks in this game. And had he done that, the Seahawks would have won today. But he didn't. He had his early touchdown adjusted to a beautiful, I don't even know if it was a beautiful ball. It was a beautiful adjustment that he had. Ball was just dipped right over Ambry Thomas's shoulder there, and Metcalf turned around and caught it in his hip pocket, basically. And after that, he didn't do very much. And he was not doing very much, not against Mooney Ward, who was out of this game, but Ambry Thomas, Diamador Lenore, did good jobs on a guy who is a massive shit disturber. Like DK Metcalf has got squabble in him for sure. And if you put DK Metcalf in a room of professional athletes, like everybody in the room's a professional athlete. Now you say, all right, guys, everybody take your shirts off. You would have been like, oh, there's only one real professional athlete in here. It's that guy. Like DK Metcalf is a freaking Adonis. He is a specimen among professional athletes. He is in the top 0.5% of professional athlete body types. His body type doesn't even say, I'm a wide receiver. His body type just says, I'm a big, bad motherfucker. Like, that's what he is. 49ers did a good job keeping him in check today. They really, truly did. I got to turn down the space heater just a little bit. It's a little hot in here. We are going to get into the chat. What's going on? We see a lot of people in that chat. It's good to see you. Fred Warner, do you see that, Delbert? A little bit. Fred Warner shoving DK in the back at the end of that game. There were some squabbles at the end of that game. Multiple fines forthcoming. Metcalf had like three flags. Yeah, we're going to get fines. I think. You always get a fine. I just read an article like a year ago. The NFL collected after the fact like $1.5 million in fines. This year it's already over like $4 or $5 million. There's a lot of fines going out there. Shout out Javon Kinlaw, Nick J. Dude played well. He really did. Old Dirty Hungus has kind of got it right here, saying, Drew Lock has a great arm talent, and he's an athlete too, but he has 4, like Jimmy, oh no, throws in a game, and that's the difference between you stuck around as a starting quarterback or you fell into that backup role. Damon, adjust your focus. The bookcase is in focus, not you. I'm doing the show right now. We're just going to have to roll with it. I'm sorry. I can hear. Let me give it a try. A little bit better. See, now I look fuzzy on my end. I don't know. How about that? That's got to be good enough. That's got to be good enough. Either way, in focus, out of focus. Help me refocus this career on YouTube. Hit that like button, and you go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. And here's something that you don't see in an awful lot of 49er fan chats. This is from Absolute, what is that? Backhand? Let's go Cowboys. It's officially go Cowboys time if you're a 49er fan. That feels weird, doesn't it? But that's where you are. It is go Cowboys time if you are a 49ers fan. And I'll tell you what, the Chicago Bears helped you out today as well. Bears beat the Detroit Lions. The path to a 1 seed opens up a little bit more, just a little bit more, if these Cowboys beat the Eagles tonight. Very interesting Sunday night football game coming up. Rock is right. It was a strange game. Strange game. Debo is a monster out there. When Debo is playing at his very best, when Debo is out there and you feel him in a football game, that's when the Niners are at their best. That's when they're a violent, physical football team. Again, normally when you say violent and physical, you're talking about the defense, but that describes the 49ers offense when it's at its best. Today, Trent Williams was violent and physical. Jack says Purdy is legit. He had an awesome game. I mean, that's the thing. I don't even know if Purdy had an awesome game. He's just good. He's good. I mean, I don't think this was an awesome game for Brock Purdy. He just makes big, bold choices. He doesn't settle for anything underneath. Like the whole dink and dunk nonsense on him is nonsense. This guy is looking downfield to make plays. He's got fantastic eyes. He's always looking upfield. And he hit big touch passes today. Big touch passes. First super chat of the afternoon. Thanks so much to Gold Rush. Loving the live post game. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm loving doing it. I really am. I always felt I was at my best after a live sporting event. I love me some post game and Damon. I'm thrilled that you like it too. Kevin Murray coming in here. Oh, Kevin Murray. Damon Bruce is the man. $10 going in the ganja jar from the man, Kevin Murray himself. Thank you very much, Kevin. So, very good day. Good day for the 49ers. Wait, I hear a door sliding next to me, which means Mrs. Plus is coming in. You're going to wish everyone a happy holidays, honey?
Happy holidays, everybody.
Are you going to?
Thank you for tuning in.
Are you just going to appear with your hand? You're going to lean in?
I'm trying to get this done.
That's fine. That's.
Hi.
There you go. There's Mrs. Plus. She is upstairs making sure 2 kids stay quiet enough for me to host this show for you. So thank her very, very much. The complaint was it was focused on the background and not me. She's dialing up the camera right now. That's close. No, now I'm out of focus. I think that's good. I think we're good. Thank you very much. Oh, no. Am I getting sexier?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, honey. Okay. Thank you. Cheers to you.
Tune in, everybody. Go Niners!
There you go. Congratulations. She's the big Niner fan in the family. Although I got to tell you, I'm wearing a great T-shirt today. This is from Jack's San Francisco's. JacksSF.com. They're brick and mortars on Chestnut. This is the year that the Niners moved into the city. 1946, the year that they were founded. Vintage T-shirts like this are available at JacksSF.com, and you can get all your holiday shopping done right there. Use promo code DamonBruce10 for 10% off your Jack's order. But again, we are brought to you by Hughes Orthopedics here. A little post game and Damon. I just wanted to slip it in since I noticed, hey, I'm wearing a T-shirt of Jack's. My knee feels so much better after seeing Dr. Paul Hughes. Let me go ahead and put up the crawl again, because one of the things I want you to do in 2024, if you got joint pain, if you got shoulder pain, if you got bone on bone, if you got arthritis, you need to contact Dr. Paul Hughes with offices in San Mateo. And what he's going to do is talk to you about non-surgical options that can make you feel better pretty much for the rest of your life. So you go ahead and you get in touch with Dr. Paul Hughes if you got some aches and pains. Smiley Dan running a safety meeting. Again, the Eagles might have Dom running safety. We have Smiley Dan running safety. A little oi, oi, oi. Thank you so very much.
Oi, oi, oi!
Right back at you, Smiley Dan. We keep on looking at this chat right here because it's moving. Have we got a 0-0 game still going on? What is going on? I need to look at some scores around the league here. Pardon me. This is just my curiosity, because I know that this Vikings-Raiders game was scoreless late. And then I come on at the 2-minute warning, so I stopped paying it. The Vikings beat the Raiders 3-0 in Vegas. Oh, that's not good. Raiders fans. Oh, it ain't easy being a Raider fan. Trent Williams is a Hall of Famer. Space Case Cards, you are right about that. He will go to the Hall of Fame. This is something that Larry Krueger and I were actually talking about this past weekend. How many Hall of Famers are on this 49ers team right now? Like, careers ended today, they're Hall of Famers. I think Christian McCaffrey's a Hall of Famer. I think Trent Williams is a Hall of Famer. I think George Kittle's a Hall of Famer. It's not if their careers ended today, but the track for Fred Warner and Bosa both being Hall of Famers, I believe, is absolutely out there. And honestly, once Kyle Shanahan punches his ticket to the Hall of Fame with the Super Bowl, he'll be a Hall of Famer once he wins the Super Bowl. That's the kind of coach that he is. And that's the kind of coach that, again, you heard Greg Olsen just admiring. And I tell you, we're going to have to talk about Greg Olsen a little bit later, because he really is, I think, one of the best broadcasters I've ever heard in my life. He's about as good a color commentator as you're going to find. But more on that a little bit later on. Let's get back into your chats and what's going on in this game. All of Purdy's long throws were absolute dimes from Hand Banana. You were right. I mean, he puts it on guys so accurately. This is something that you've heard. This is something that you've honestly heard from Steve Young. Forget about arm strength. Who throws a catchable ball? Brock Purdy throws an incredibly catchable ball. Charles says, I really enjoy your podcast, Damon. You're a breath of fresh air. Merry Christmas and go Niners. Thank you very much. Roy Boy is a new subscriber. You're the best. Oh, my God, the compliments are rolling in here from Dalton. I hope you're named specifically after Roadhouse's Dalton. Thank you very, very much. But all of you, thank you very much. Thank you for hitting that like button, that subscribe button. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for being a real supporter of what we've been doing over here. And again, it's independent media. And I think that matters more now than ever before. Unfiltered, non-dripping with a team's or station's bullshit agenda is the content I think people want these days. And you can't get it anywhere that is a flagship of anyone. And I'm going to tell you right now, radio is dying and stations are dying. And who needs a station when you got a channel on YouTube? I mean, like, the future is here. You can see it. I'm looking at it. You're looking at it right now. And I thank you very much. Hit that like button. Next week, Damon, is the trap game from Der Kaiser in Der Gilroy. Look, I'll agree with you. It is the definition of a trap game. And the Arizona Cardinals always give the 49ers a problem. I don't care how bad they are or how good the Niners are. They're a pain in the ass, division rivals. You know, it's real. There's something about familiarity breeding contempt. But I just think that the 49ers won't allow themselves to step into the trap game. I don't. I don't. I just think that they are focused. They're feeling it. They're feeling what they could be this year, and the prize that might be waiting for them is enough to keep them from stepping into a bad day of football against Arizona. Now, look, a bad day of football can come out of anywhere. It can. I don't think it's going to be the 49ers against Arizona. Big Mac 8675. If you folks aren't following Damon, part of that Plus Army, you're doing it wrong. Thank you again. The Army does gather Monday through Friday with a live show at 11 a.m. West Coast time. But I'll tell you, we're going to get going with a little 49er wake up Monday at 8:30. Now, normally we go at 8, but because Jillian's leaving for work, I got to drop off kids, but I'm going to come on back from dropping off the kids, and Larry Kruger and I simulcasting on our channels. 49er wake up is going to be a monster tomorrow. So I hope you plan on being a part of that. It'll get going at 8:30 in the morning. I think that this is fair. Francisco says, not our best showing, but okay. Coming off a big emotional game. Like, I'll even agree with you there. It wasn't the best the 49ers have played all year, but it was the most amount of yards that Brock Purdy's thrown for all year. That was a very casual 145 over 16 carries for Christian McCaffrey. Another multiple touchdown day, 7 catches and 149 yards for Debo, 6 catches, 126 yards for Brandon Ayuk. So a pair of guys each going over $125 in receiving yards. And then you had Debo running it in on the ground too. He had Debo Samuel, 1 carry, 1 yards, not bad, and 1 touchdown. Did it right on that goal line carry. That was the worst slip ever, costing Mitch a great play. Yeah, the Ronnie Bell slip. That was tough. That was tough. And you got to throw the flag there. Whether the guy slipped or not, intended to do it or not, you can't measure intent. You can only measure the infraction if you're out there. Let's be honest. Here's something you don't get to say after an awful lot of football games. So let's say it when it actually happens. That was a well-officiated game. That was a well-officiated football game. Down the line. Both teams, neither team had an advantage. Neither team had a preferred way that they wanted to play through the interpretation of a rule book and got away more than the other team got away with. Nah, it didn't happen. That was a good, fairly officiated game. So don't get that to say you don't get to say it often, so say it when you can. Mr. Irrelevant to MVP. Like, that's going to be crazy. JoJo squared. You might be right. You serious? You might be right. Seriously. That's where this could go. Brock Purdy is putting up numbers. Brock Purdy is able to do things that the other quarterbacks that have done them have all gone on to win MVPs. I mean, there is precedent for the year that he is having being an MVP year in this league. Oh, good. I'm finally caught up with the spot in the chat where we've had the focus. That's great. Focus. You nailed it. Rick, you look good. Thank you very much. We got a lot of producers here in the house today. I do appreciate it. Again, appreciate you subscribing. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hopefully popping back Monday morning, 8:30 for 49ers Wake Up. And then hitting notify even. That way you don't miss a thing. That way you don't miss me stepping outside of my kid's swim class to tell you that Shohei Ohtani is not going to be a San Francisco Giant. Ugh. Look, the Niners needed this one today. Between what the Warriors just did going belly up in a 1-point game, between the Dodgers getting Ohtani for 10 years, $700 million, the 49ers couldn't let the Bay catch another fat L today, so they took care of business. 28-16 over the Seahawks. What's with this fancy font, True Blue Forever? So it's the holiday font, available only around the holidays. I figured if I hung the stocking I should go with the holiday font. Is it distracting? I hope not. AJ Cruz saying, Damon, I'm celebrating this win with a big bowl of Captain Crunch. Well, rest in peace to the top of your mouth, but enjoy. Absolutely enjoy. I started today. We picked up the Christmas tree down at the Guardsman Tree Lot, Fort Mason Festival Pavilion. Every tree sends the kids to camp. If you haven't got your Christmas tree, go get one from the Guardsman in San Francisco. Fort Mason Festival Pavilion. Started the day getting the Christmas tree, house of bagels, baker's dozen, couple of schmears. I've eaten 4 bagels today. That's all I've eaten today, 4 bagels. My doctor said, make sure your carbo load right before Christmas gets here. That'd be a good idea, fat ass. I said, all right, I can do that. I can do that. What do we got here? We're going back to the chat line. VIP Patel says, Purdy can see the field like no other. What a passer. I don't know if it's like no other, but he sees the field at an elite level. The way that he processes what he's got in front of him, it's just strong. And his eyes are always downfield. Always downfield. Damon, this is the best 2-minute warning show. Thank you, Jonathan. It's a post-game show that's so aggressive it doesn't even wait for the game to end. That's the way I look at it. Drew. Purdy, a more athletic Drew Brees. Not as much arm as Drew, but he's got enough. I don't think that that's a misplaced comparison. And it's not just because of the relative size, but Drew Brees wasn't just like all arm strength. That guy had crazy touch. You want to talk about throwing a catchable football? Like Drew Brees did an awful lot of that. Hold on, I got to turn this on. NBC, get me to a little football night in America. For some 49ers, or excuse me, for some Cowboys and Eagles coming up. And boy, the pressure on the Eagles to win in Dallas has gone up twofold, because not only did the 49ers win today, but the Lions lose. The Lions lost to the Chicago Bears, and that is a team that, again, had a soft schedule, looking for a 1 seed, and is now 9-4. Guess what the Niners are? They're 10-3. If the Eagles go on to lose on Sunday Night Football, guess what? They'll be 10-3. And woo, we got ourselves close to a football season. Now there's a few powder puffs. The Giants are still on the Eagles schedule twice. But all I'm going to tell you is that's a division opponent, and as bad as the frickin' Giants are, you play a team 2 weeks in a row, who knows, something funny could happen. There's a lot of funny things that could happen. This league is built on funny things happening. Nicotina joined us for our Friday show, and we did a Sports Phone Lives show. Every Friday, we're going to be taking video calls from now on during the 11 a.m. show on the Plus. This is where Jillian came in. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Damon definitely punching out of his league. No doubt about that, Dale. No doubt. No doubt. Dale dropping another hubba hubba. Calm down, Dale. Calm down. After some mental errors, the team pulled through, showed some maturity. That's from Carlos. I don't even think I'm going to classify what I saw as mental errors. As I said earlier, I thought that scoring 2 plays into the game did as much to take the 49ers out of rhythm as the Seahawks did. But I'll say that Seahawks came out laying lumber. I mean, they were hitting hard. Really hard. That's what happens when you got a division rival out there who's getting desperate. You start hitting hard. And, Kittle got smacked up pretty big early on this game. And I know this is tough, Steve, going through the same emotions that a lot of Niner fans are going through. I hate having to root for Dallas, but it is what it is. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. You got to do it. You got to say that. Dipshill, is that the name? Dipesh. Either way, great name. Gritty but smooth win. Okay. I don't know how you get gritty and smooth, but if you were looking for the 49ers to win a little bit of a closer tug of war than a walkaway game, that's what they did today, for sure. Michael Kennedy, straight up, man. Purdy's a winner. He is. Is this the Tim Donaghy crew? Tim Donaghy crew. I've never seen your name in here before, but that's a great handle. Thank you. Welcome. Please hit subscribe and like. Internet D. Bruce is a dangerous proposition. I like it. Thank you. So do I. $4.17 from the skills report. There you go. I love a random number. Taco I'm eating is nasty. Here's some money. Go Niners. Get yourself a better brand of taco, dude. This is California. You got no right to a bad taco in the state of California. You get that right. Vikings won 3-0. Oh. We should seriously end this show and pick up the JT the Brick Raider postgame show live in progress. That's got to be a place for happy, well-adjusted people this afternoon. Yeah, JoJo. Wait. That's an actual final score? Yeah. Oh, and our boy JJ Raider, JJ Ganja Jar, official sponsor of the Ganja Jar. All I can tell you is, JJ Raider, I'm sorry, but this is the life you chose, and you have enough weed to get you through it. Even a Raiders season. I know that for sure. Zamzu. Go Niners. Go Mexico. Well, thank you very, very much. International reach growing. Let me just tell you right now, there was no ability for any radio signal that I was on before to reach Mexico. God, the last radio station that I was on didn't do a very good job reaching frickin' Walnut Creek. So I'm really happy that this, what do you call it? The internet reaches everywhere on the fucking globe. Isn't that cool? Show gets to go global, baby. We're like Pitbull. We're Mr. Worldwide. Speaking of that, Leslie, Damon, you can never, ever be too sexy. Well, thank you. Why is everything cursive today? Because cursive is fancy for the holidays. Christmas time is here. Damon, A-? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, A- B+ kind of afternoon, I think, for the 49ers. More than anything else. Wasn't an A+ day. It was a day where business was handled. And any day you do that in the NFL is a good day for doing business. East Bay Ricardo, you're a real one too, East Bay. Hope the family's doing well. Dale, let's talk about how smart Brock Purdy is. He knows how to take a sack. More credit to him. He knows when to just fall and take it and when not to. I'm telling you, you're right, Dale. You're right, because Purdy is as good with the plays he doesn't make as the plays he does make. He gets the ball out of harm's way more than he puts it in harm's way. You know, what is a real difference between Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo? I think we're starting to see it's a lot of difference. But among them, and one of them, is the oh no ball that Jimmy would let go. When Brock Purdy lets go of the oh no ball, it's 9 players deep into the sideline. He's throwing that to equipment managers. He's getting that ball out of harm's way, and when he takes a sack, he just bellies it and goes down, and there it is. You won that. You won the down. We didn't turn it over, so it wasn't a a costly loss for us. It's just yardage, but we're not giving up possession. Brock Purdy is good in the plays that he makes. He's just as good in the bad plays that he avoids. And that's why Kyle Shanahan's got a hard-on for him. And there are a lot of reasons why Kyle gets very excited about Brock Purdy. The plays he doesn't make, the mistakes that aren't measured against him, are just as important as the actual passing yards that you can measure for him. And today, Brock Purdy threw for a career best 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. He took 3 sacks. Drew Lock took 4 when it was all said and done. Where'd those sacks get credited around here? We always like to count the sacks, don't we? Nick Bosa, he got a sack and a half today, half a sack for Javon Kinlaw, following up his 2-sack game. A sack for Randy Gregory. That one came in late. And Cleveland Farrell with a sack this afternoon as well. And he even came up doing the Eric Armstead yummy yummy in my tummy dance, which was a tribute to Eric Armstead, who was unavailable today. And I'll tell you, we saw about as creatively used Nick Bosa because of Eric Armstead's absence today. Very creatively used Nick Bosa. He was lined up over center. He was playing stand-up nose tackle. He was stunting and looping and playing next to Chase Young, and he was doing everything he could. That whole defensive line, again, bonus sprinkles. Extra sprinkles on the Sunday for Javon Kinlaw today, who played really well in the absence of Eric Armstead. Dale, again, thank you so much for the super chat. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you. Again, we are what, 2 days? Is this the second day of Hanukkah already? Third day? Happy Hanukkah, L'chaim. If that's the way your boat floats. Merry Christmas. It's coming around the corner. It was so nice to be surrounded by all the holiday cheer of the Guardsman tree lot today. I was able to move trees around myself and pick them up and carry them up my front stairs because my knee doesn't hurt anymore because Dr. Paul Hughes done fixed my knee with cellular replacement therapy. I was a candidate for knee surgery. And he said, you don't need knee surgery. Knee surgery is invasive. It's expensive. There are treatments that are even better than knee surgery. And he gave me that treatment. And look at what I can do. Oh, even the Dr. Paul Hughes crawl is in cursive. Go to orthopedicsurgeries.com if you'd like to avoid orthopedic surgery. Orthopedicsurgeries.com to avoid orthopedic surgery. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Go get a consultation with Dr. Paul Hughes. Miguel, oh my goodness, I'm glad I just came and clicked back to the chat or I would have missed this one. Miguel is saying, D. Bruce, love you on YouTube, man. No holds barred. Thank you so much, Miguel. Cheers to you. Really appreciate it. It is fun playing without a rule book over here. It absolutely is. Then you get your half-drunk friends getting real generous. Kevin, again, second super chat of the show. He's going up to $49.99. Just for the 49ers, I'm guessing. There it is. 49ers, Javon Kinlaw, $49.99. Keep up the great work. Thank you very, very much, Kevin. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of you being in here. If you appreciate me being here with you, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be here with you on Christmas. I'm going to be here with you on New Year's because we don't stop if the 49ers are playing. That's how it works. And I appreciate you being part of this crazy, goofy, weird island of misfit toys that we have put together. The Daily Plusers, as they call themselves, are a hell of a bunch. It's one of the coolest chat rooms that I think you're going to find anywhere on the internet. People really enjoying each other's company, not just trying to troll each other and provoke each other. At least that's what we're going for. And I don't police it very much. It's sort of policed itself. It's like the NHL. I let players police themselves. I let our chat room police itself, basically. They don't take the bait of trolls. They're good people. They know sports. They're not overreactionary. And they also know how to have a good time. Throw back a couple of shots in the middle of an afternoon when right to do so. And there are plenty of opportunities that are right to do so. It's the beauty of living in California. So we've been all freaking, aren't the Niners awesome, awesome, awesome since the show started? And rightfully so. They just won a football game. These things, football games never have been, never will be easy to do. Let me go ahead real quickly, though, and just get Dr. Hughes' chat to calm down for a little while there. We'll get back to ways to contact Dr. Hughes, but if you needed it, hopefully you wrote it down already. We'll get back there. But while I'm keeping an eye here on the chat, I'm going to scroll up so I don't miss anything. I'm going to rewind just a little bit. That way, if you all get going crazy. Andy's like, is that private parts on your bookshelf? Sure is, man. Absolutely. Howard Stern, private parts, right there. I got to learn how to move on the screen. Right there. It's been all happy, 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 joy, joy, joy. Where's the one thing to complain about? Because there is absolutely one thing to complain about in this game here. And I don't know if Kyle's addressed this yet. He's going to be asked about it. I wonder what bullshit he pulls out of his pants. Because at the end of this first half, Kyle just gave away a possession. And I really don't understand why, given the circumstances under which he gave it away. Seattle is running plays inside of its own 5-yard line. So they're backed up in their own end zone. A 10-second runoff is declined. You can decline a 10-second runoff after the Drew Lock illegal forward pass, but he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. So there's a 10-second runoff that you can decline. He doesn't decline it. So then Bosa eats up the third down play. And instead of calling a timeout and having 10 more seconds because you just declined the runoff, with a short field and 3 timeouts, Kyle's just like, yeah, we're good. We're going to go into the locker room. You telling me you didn't want to set up Nick Moody for a field goal? You didn't want to take 1 or 2 stabs at the end zone? There's got to be a reason why, right? Nobody's that bad at clock management. There's no way he's that bad. There must be a reason attached to this other than, yeah, I gave up on a half. I didn't want a possession. There's got to be something. I haven't heard what the explanation is yet, but there's got to be something there, right? There just has to be. By the way, the Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs, 2017. Second straight loss at Arrowhead for the Chiefs, right? After losing to the Eagles a week before. Did they have a game in between at Arrowhead, or weren't they on the road last week? I can't ever remember. But what was Kyle thinking? Did he want to work on some route adjustments? Did he want to work on some pass pro adjustments? Was he worried about somebody getting hurt? Purdy hurt? I don't understand why, with all of your timeouts and the opportunity to be playing on a short field with about 40 seconds left, you'd say, nah, we're good. Oh, and by the way, Seattle's getting the ball to start the third quarter. So that was weird. Need some questions there. But it's weird. True blue forever. Damon crossed the bridge for a guardsman tree yesterday. Thank you very much, True Blue. And in doing so, you sent a kid to summer camp for a day. A kid who is a Bay Area at-risk youth, who might be a foster child, who certainly, under so many circumstances, has one parent, if any, at home, has a guardian, if not actual parents. At-risk youth is a very big umbrella that you can throw a lot of kids under here in the Bay Area. And what we do is we get those kids out of the concrete jungle, send them up to camp in Mendocino, let them be kids, let them put the phone down, let them enjoy the outdoors, let them play together. And in the application process, candidates who are identified that can be put into private schools and have the arc of their educations changed forever is what the Guardsmen do. We provide campership and scholarship to Bay Area at-risk youth, and even though our trees are a little bit more expensive than everywhere else, there's a reason why. It's because every tree pays for a day of summer camp for a Bay Area kid. So thank you, True Blue Forever. And we got great trees, too. Beautiful, noble fir Christmas trees. So MJ wants to know, what kind of schmear, Damon? Was it fancy schmancy schmear? Thank you very much, Golden State Lakota and MJ. If you must know, it was the schmear with lox and then the other one with some veggies put in it. So that's the way we went today. I want to talk a little bit about Greg Olsen as we move here into our second hour of postgame after the 49ers beat the Seahawks 28-16 on a day where Brock Purdy threw for a career-best 368 yards. The career high, 2 touchdowns, an interception for Brock this afternoon, a multiple touchdown game for Deebo Samuel. We are brought to you by Hughes Orthopedics, and it's good to have you here for a second hour. We're rolling, baby. We keep on going. And please click like and subscribe. But I want to talk about Greg Olsen. A lot of what brought so many new people to me this past week was a video that I did on about the downfall of KNBR and some of the decisions that have been made in radio here locally. That KNBR video that I did brought over 1,000 subscribers to my channel because a lot of people wanted to hear about, people care about broadcasting and broadcasters. There's a connection made on the radio that's very intimate. It's very special. It's always meant an awful lot to me. I'm going to tell you, I'm thrilled to find out that you can make an even more special, more intimate connection in a chat room here on your own channel on YouTube. You know, on the radio, you could build an audience. On YouTube, you can build a real community. And it's special. And I hope you plan on being a part of it by clicking like and subscribe and helping me out as we grow this thing. But I appreciate good broadcasting. And I have heard enough of it from Greg Olsen to where I say without reservation, Greg Olsen is without a doubt one of the best color guys I've ever heard. Like, to me, Greg Olsen is just checking every single box a broadcaster can. He has wonderful information. He has playing day experience, which translates in how he sees and comments on a game. His cadence, not stepping on his broadcasting partner. He's never over talking. Burkhart always has plenty of time to come back in with play-by-play. So he's got great cadence. He's got a really good sense of humor. He's got good pop culture references. He's got the ability to dissect or predict plays, either something that just happened, he explains why it just all went down, or something that might happen, and more often than not, he's right about that. Greg Olsen, if he's going to be replaced by anyone else, it better frickin' be Tom Brady, right? And I don't think anyone can be better than Greg Olsen. Maybe Brady can be as good. Is he going to be more famous? Without a doubt. But Greg Olsen is an A+ color commentator. I really think so. Guy's fantastic. Just fantastic. An outstanding broadcaster. One of the things that he shared today was a story about how Kyle Shanahan keeps getting his guys bought in. And he said something to the effect that, he explains to the guys, if you're not getting targeted enough, for your liking, what we're going after is we're attacking coverage. We're not going away from you. We're attacking coverage. And he explains to guys why they might not be involved. And that keeps guys from not creating their own doubt. Why am I not involved today? Did I do something wrong? Am I doing something that coach doesn't like? He explains to guys why they're not involved, to keep them from creating their own doubt. And that was relayed by Olsen today. I thought it was a great little story. And by the way, thanks so much to Kill a Mig. Purdy rating is just going up each and every week. This is like he's in Madden. 368 yards today. I remember, I don't even want to talk about noodle arms or who has, handicapped an entire franchise the wrong way. Not just one player, but how can someone literally cover a franchise every day and still not know what they look at? They have no idea, no clue as to what they're looking at. I don't even want to get into that. I want to talk about someone who's good at their job. So back to Greg Olsen. It's one thing for a color commentator to come in here and be good within the vacuum of the game. It's another thing to know background. And that's where Olsen really impressed me today. The background, as he was discussing the Isaiah Oliver, Diamador Lenore, Ambry Thomas playing love triangle after the Chavarius Ward injury. The fact that he knew that, the way that all went down, that's a very inside 49er, inside baseball story to tell. So that means this guy's doing his research. He's just not identifying the play correctly and the player correctly and the play type correctly, but he knows the background of this stuff and how playing time is earned and taken away. We're talking a fourth or fifth guy in the secondary. Greg Olsen just knows the league. I think he's really good. Really good. All right. So, good day for Greg Olsen. Good day for the 49ers. Like I said, we got a little community here, and when one person's hurt and we all hurt with him, Drew is saying, my father-in-law passed away Friday night. He was a big Cowboys fan. We're rooting for them boys big time with heavy hearts. Well, condolences, Drew. Hopefully your wife's side of that family is doing well and you're doing okay, and very sorry to hear that. But yeah, let's hopefully he can push the buttons in the sky to get the Cowboys into that win column over the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Here's a legit question. Is every punter an Australian now? It feels that way. I mean, every single college team has an Australian punter in his late 20s or early 30s, it feels like. There is a straight up Australian invasion on special teams. By the way, that's the only other, here's something that I didn't note about this game today. Debo took the ball out of the end zone on kick return. He got to about the 15-yard line before he got absolutely blasted. Debo Samuel has enough house credit to do with the ball what he wants. He's also enough of a bad motherfucker where he can take that ball and run through dudes. And I do want Debo Samuel on kick return in the postseason and, in a game in Philadelphia that was a have to have. I didn't think that this game today was an event horizon game. This is it. You gotta. Even though in many ways it really was. But you can't get Debo hurt playing special teams. That just cannot happen. It can't happen, man. That guy's too susceptible. I like Debo. I like him on kick return, but I don't like him getting buried on special teams. And so I think I would just ask Ronnie Bell to do that. I really would. And pray that Ronnie Bell doesn't make any mistakes. Damon's about 10 minutes behind the chat. Damon gets 10, 15, 20 minutes behind the chat. Damon doesn't have a producer, so you got that right. Thank you very much, Melvin. So we're just flowing. We're just rolling together. Again, there's so much stuff here. If you really want to stand out, that super chat does help you stand out. And I'm not saying that you got to pay to play or anything like that, but as I'm trying to go, that always catches my eye, which I think is the point of it. Locke is not starting anywhere, free agent or not. Look, I mean, Locke has got a lot of skills It's just hard for him to put them all together in one game. I thought he was impressive today. He really was. He was 22 of 31 for 269 yards. He did throw 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions as well, including a bad lollipopper that he just kind of put up for grabs. But I thought that Locke did more to give the Niners a headache today than we saw Geno give the 49ers a headache on Thanksgiving. I mean, Drew Lock today was pretty good. Hold on. Let's see if we can go clean sweep up here. We got Collinsworth's No One Likes Him's kid, Tony Dungy. And did everyone just pick the Dallas Cowboys across the board? Did we get a full sweep of Dallas Cowboy picks? Did anybody take the Eagles? Everybody, Rodney Harrison included, took the Cowboys. Well, that means the Eagles are going to win. Damn it. All right. I've never seen this before. Pete Carroll looks like an old lady CHP officer. You think Pete Carroll looks, what are you saying? Like Pete Carroll looks like an old lesbian? Is that what you're telling me? I don't know. I don't get an old lesbian vibe when I look at Pete Carroll. I don't. Mike Mann. Thank you, Mike Mann. I'm praying that Trey Lance plays tonight. Look at it this way. If Trey Lance gets in there and plays tonight, things have gone either incredibly well for the Dallas Cowboys or incredibly poorly. There's no middle. There's that road forks in 2 directions. That is, the Cowboys are winning by 35 points, or Dak Prescott got airlifted out of the fucking stadium and everything is bad now. Like that's how that goes. Chef Craig's. Not going to lie, it's very hard to root for the Cowgirls, right? Yeah, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's the way it goes. Big Chicken, I agree with you here. Look, it was a good day for the 49ers. It was a better day for the 49ers players than it was for the coach at the end of the half when Kyle Shanahan just gave a possession away. Didn't even want it. Was handed to him and he didn't want it. Terrible time management on the Niners at the end of the half. That's what I keep. Look, Big Chicken, the only thing I can tell you is that there's got to be something that we don't know. He's got to have an explanation. Whether I like it or not or buy it or not, he's got to have an explanation that explains that away in some way other than, yeah, I just didn't want to use my timeouts. I just want to go to the locker room. That didn't make any sense. DK is a punk. You know, he is, but I'd want him on my team. I like to fight in him. I like the squabbles. He is someone that pisses off other football players, and he's like offensive Dre Greenlaw, kind of. You know, he'll play through the echo of the whistle. And he will get in guys' faces, and he will trash talk, and he will shove, and he will point, and he'll be all up in your face mask doing this. It's kind of who he is. You don't like it because he does it against you. I like aggressive football players. I like wide receivers who aren't unphysical. You know, I like a wide receiver who's out there starting shit. I do. I like DK Metcalf. He's a specimen. Absolute first guy off the bus level specimen. So I know you don't like him. I know you don't like him. If you were a Niner, you would love him. Absolutely love him. Brock Purdy is the best thing to happen to the 49ers since Eddie D hired Bill Walsh. T-Flow. You know, that's such a big seminal moment that I want to argue with you. I don't know if I can. I mean, I've never even thought of it. Like, what is it, the biggest moment then? I mean, let's see where this goes. I'm going to tell you right now, if the 49ers the 49ers go on to do something this year that rhymes with Cooper Hole, I don't want to talk about the postseason yet. I don't want to talk about but there will be a time to talk about the postseason. This isn't it. But if the 49ers do something that rhymes with Stuper, then yeah, Brock Purdy will have been the best thing to happen to the 49ers since Eddie D hired Bill Walsh. I think so. I think so. You know, what he's doing is remarkable at this point in his career from any starting point. First, second, third, any round, doesn't matter. To be this good, this efficient, this early in a career is just remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. And if he wins a Super Bowl this year, it's one of the great stories ever told in sports. It's like if you turn the script into Disney, they'd be like, nah, fluff it up a little. No one would believe it. And that's what this is. It's maybe the NFL's single best story since Kurt Warner in terms of out of nowhere success. Now, the reason why the Kurt Warner story goes down not as a footnote, but as the benchmark of unbelievable football stories the NFL's ever produced is because Lombardi was his. He did it. They won the whole damn thing. And if Brock Purdy does that, I mean, holy shit. It'd be absolutely incredible. But there is so much football between now and then. I don't even want to talk about it. So thank you very much, T-Flow. Great question. I don't want to talk about it. Not yet. Not yet. Otis Bird III, one of our fearless leaders, is in here. Hey, what's going on, Otis? Always great to see you, man. Thanks for stopping on by. Thanks to all of you for stopping on by. Thanks to Dr. Paul Hughes for sponsoring Postgame and Damon. Again, if you have knee pain, if you have shoulder pain, if you've been told by any doctor, you have arthritis, you've got bone on bone, you've got joint pain, you've got problems with your meniscus, or I think that's it's like the cushion that your whole knee rocks on. If you have torn that up and you've been told you might need knee or shoulder replacement surgery, don't get that surgery until you have talked to Dr. Paul Hughes. Go to orthopedicsurgeries.com, orthopedicsurgeries.com, and that might help you avoid an orthopedic surgery because Dr. Paul Hughes is a specialist in stem cell and PRP replacement therapy. I got the Kobe Bryant knee juice put in me. My knees feel great. If you want your knees to feel great, if you want your aching joints to feel great, see Dr. Paul Hughes. All right. I want to go over some raw numbers today. A day full of chunk plays. Of course, the Niners would have a gaudy yardage total, 527 yards of offense for the 49ers, 324 for the Seahawks, 527 yards of offense, 354 passing. They averaged 9.9 yards per play. The Seahawks were pretty good today, averaging nearly 6 yards per play. They were at 5.9, but 9.9 yards per play, 11.8 yards per pass, 173 rushing yards for the second week in the row, more than 100 rushing yards more than their opponent. I think they had exactly 100 rushing yards more than the Eagles. They have 103 more rushing yards than the Seahawks, 173 to 70. And the Niners got it done in the red zone. 2 for 2 in the red zone today. The Seahawks were 0 for 1. Each team drew 5 penalties. Each team had 2 turnovers. Each team possessed the ball for about 30 minutes of time. And I thought it was a well-officiated game. It really was. It wasn't a game where the officials got in the way of the game happening. That's all you can really ask for, right? Greg Olson, sexy forehead. Aikman is the standard in the booth. That is from Burnell Lawrence III. I think Aikman's good. I don't think he's nearly as information ready as Greg Olsen is. I don't know. Troy Aikman's okay. I think he's a little overrated. He's not bad. He doesn't get in the way. He doesn't detract from a broadcast. I'll give him that much. Like broadcasters, for the most part, when they're at their best, they're like offensive linemen or officials. If they're having a great day, you don't even notice. A really good broadcaster has a really good day. You don't even notice them. But there are some guys who just drop so much interesting stuff on you that it does stand out. And to me, Greg Olsen's one of those guys. Greg Olsen is Fox's next Terry Bradshaw, True Blue forever. In terms of likability, jokeability, maybe, to me, Terry Bradshaw should have been thrown off television over a decade ago. He is fucking useless. I don't think Terry Bradshaw's funny. I don't think Terry Bradshaw's cute. I don't think Terry Bradshaw's informative. I don't think he's in touch with the league anymore. And I didn't have any intention of shitting on Terry Bradshaw today, but Terry Bradshaw to me has never, ever made a football pre or post game show better. He's just like the goober on the set. I never was a Terry Bradshaw guy. What else? Again, Dale says, I can't stand Olsen. Why? Why? I think he's really good. I would like to. What is your complaint other than I can't stand him? Give me a specific complaint. I think he's well informed. I think he is. I think he does a great job predicting plays, dissecting plays, explaining what happened, explaining it from a former player perspective without jamming the whole I'm a former player thing down your throat every other sentence. Obey Banksy. Debo runs at people violently. The thing, Debo's involved in enough football violence. I don't want him involved, I think, in the most violent collision that you can ask for in a football field, and that's kick returner. That's just, cannot lose that guy. Chef Craig says, Damon, we love being here with you. We have 4 BA transplants in Oregon watching. What's going on? Thanks for watching from Oregon. Go Ducks. Bo Nix. Yeah, baby. Did you see Penix finish second for the Heisman Trophy there? Good for Jaden Daniels. He deserved it. He was great. But, man, Penix, just the fact he started in Indiana, I wanted him to win it so bad. I really did. Mike, if you think about it, since Crocodile Dundee, we've really been swamped by Aussies in sports, acting, picking up American lasses, etc. Well, I'll tell you, it's that accent. That accent, man. Like, I meet guys from Australia and San Francisco. I'll walk right up to them and be like, just with that accent alone, you're going to clean up in this town. You're going to do really well. Chicks dig that. I mean, look at St. Mary's basketball. That's like the epicenter of the Australian invasion in American sports almost, isn't it? Damon, you do have a queen producer in the house. I do, but she is right now producing 2 children to be very quiet. She's in charge of muting the nudniks upstairs who are always up to no good. So that's her main job here tonight. She can't be going through the chats. Maybe the missing ingredient for the Eagles tonight is going to be Big Dom. Big Dom is not allowed on the sideline. DK, Chef Craig's again says, rattling Fred's helmet. How about that? Yeah, DK did get on his helmet. You know what also? Fred Warner absolutely shoved DK getting up too. He did. That little fight at the end of the game, Fred Warner started that. He did. He got away with one right there. Dale. You know why this is awesome, Damon? People will talk to people that don't just buy super chats, and that's the best kind of host. Yeah, well, I'm just going through what I think is going to be a good topic. You guys bring up a lot of good topics, and gals bring up a lot of good topics. So I thank you, Dale. We're not just rolling with the super chatters. We're a man for the people. We try to be anyways. Margarine Stotch. Strong win. Brock is unflappable. He really is. He's an unflappable guy. Nothing gets to him. He doesn't seem like he doesn't get that fired up for big plays. He doesn't get sulking when things go wrong. He just stays the course, man. Steady Eddie guy. He's a steady guy. Ooh, got back-to-back super chats right here with Hacktastic. Great show. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the Ganja Jar donation. I really appreciate it. And the same thing for Big Chicken 2. 100%. There has to be some explanation on the end of that first half. There just has to be. Or that goes down into like the all-time clock mismanagement Hall of Fame. Like you're a first ballot candidate with that. True Blue Forever says, I'm just trying to get the bacon grease fluid joint approach. Again, the too much bacon grease is why your joints might be hurting in the first place. But if you can take care of your problem with bacon grease, go for it. I'm pro bacon solutions for the most part. I am. But Dr. Paul Hughes, once you put yourself in the hospital with your bacon grease injections, call Dr. Paul Hughes and he'll get it done the right way. Dale, I feel like we left 10 points out there. Yeah, I mean, there were opportunities. Again, well, you definitely leave points out there when you're not taking a short field with 3 timeouts in like 45 seconds. You'd think for sure that would, at the very worst, be a moody field goal attempt. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll join you in the 10 points, Dale, but at least 3 points. And 3 points in a game that does, have that feeling of this is staying... Again, it wasn't close. I won't say the Seahawks were close in this game. They were in the neighborhood. They were hanging around. They were lurking in the neighborhood more than they were like ever standing on the 49ers lawn about to do something. But they were circling the block. And with another field goal, maybe that car would have been, another block away. I just don't think you can leave the door open for anybody in this league. And when you do that, you're in trouble. You get in trouble when you invite teams to hang around games they otherwise would have no business hanging around in. Well, yeah, I did see, what did Bryce Harper have some sort of I like the Dallas Cowboys intro? I thought I saw Bryce Harper in a Cowboys hat. Dude, he's from Vegas. I mean, there's a lot of Cowboys fans in Vegas. Here's the thing. There's a lot of Cowboys fans everywhere. Did I say Nick Moody? You know what I mean. Jake. Again, El Stroco Loco. Here's a very fair question. I'm glad you brought it up because I almost said something, but then I thought, I wonder how many of my audience members have seen Cannonball Run. It's an old movie officially now. Damon, what did you think of Terry Bradshaw in Cannonball Run? He was outstanding. That might be peak Bradshaw. Like, other than mid-70s Steelers, that's peak Bradshaw right there. When he comes up in the pool after crashing the car in the pool and he's like, let's get a beer. That's great, Terry Bradshaw. Matt asks, Damon, what do you think about the resolution of the Dom situation? I'm satisfied. Pull that guy off the field for his next game. I would have maybe pulled his pass for the entire season, but whatever. I think he's learned his lesson. He's got his 15 minutes of fame. I've also heard that if you were to meet Dom, you'd really like him. Like, he raises money for autistic children. There's a lot to like about Dom. So I'm satisfied. And I think you should be too. And the Niners won that game going away, and not even Dom could stop it. By the way, 7-0 Cowboys. So if Dom is the good luck charm, he ain't there giving him good luck. Not at the beginning of this game anyways. Rockin' New Air 84 says, Damon, yeah, Olsen is really good. I'm glad you agree. I think he's really good. Mike says, every network football panel has its pathetic clown. I don't understand why. I don't understand how football just bowed to like so much of society was like, hey, let's just be candy ass and try to joke about everything and just make everything so lighthearted and fun and it's all entertainment. The whole thing about football is people take it seriously enough to where some serious diagnosis of what is going on or what might actually happen. I think there's a craving for it. I mean, one of the reasons people watch less TV isn't just because there are more options and we have less time to do so. One of the reasons why is because so much of this stuff has just gone to shit. You know, I mean, I used to be the kind of guy who would like a Ron Jaworski NFL Edge show where they'd really get the X's and O's out and explain to you how football works a little bit. I get into that. Now, maybe that's not for the casual fan, and that's all these pre- and post-game shows are looking to court. They want to make sure that you stick around and don't flip the TV to something else before the next game comes on, and that's all they're looking to do. I don't know. But to me, I don't know why candy-ass, unfunny humor is dialed up so often. I think that Rob Riggle is funny in movies. Whenever I see Rob Riggle on a TV football pregame set, I cannot change the channel fast enough. Rob Riggle goes from being like a really funny welcome presence in a movie to the least welcome presence on my TV when he's starting to do football stuff. Like, here's Rob Riggle telling 22 stupid jokes in a row in 3 minutes. None of them are going to land. I don't know who's into that. Mike Fuss, thanks very, very much, saying, Damon, I started Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, Kittle, and CMC in my fantasy. Did good. Wow, you just went all in, pushed all in on Niners. That's not spreading the investment around, but today you did well with it. Stephen Cass says, if Garoppolo played today, the Niners would have lost. He can't throw long. You take away the short game, Jimmy lose. Purdy, throw long and accurate, totally threw the Seahawks play plan away. Look, I do think he stretches the field better than Jimmy ever could. Brock is better on his second or third read than Jimmy is on his first. If you really want to get into what the difference is, and what is that? That goes back to eyes, how quickly you see and process the field. Jimmy, it's funny, Larry Krueger and I talked about this on 49ers Wake Up just a week ago. He would have Greg Cosell on, and Greg Cosell would always say, like, Jimmy gets challenged late in the down. In other words, if Jimmy has to come off of his first read, good luck. Good luck to you if Jimmy's on read 2, or God bless you if he's on read 3, because he's good early in the down, he's bad late in the down. Purdy's good throughout the entire down. Whether it's quick strike, whether he's processing, whether he's reading, whether he's in the middle of the field, scanning the entirety of the field, whether he's on the sidelines or the hashes, Purdy seems to see it all. Guy's got great eyes. Great eyes. Roddy Richards, now he's just trying to get at me here. Damon, how did that loss to Auburn by 30 in basketball go? I'm pissed off. That was not good. Thank you for asking. Go Hoosiers. But God, that was bad. DK was pissed off today. He was. He wasn't just pissed off for greatness. He had one of those, I want the ball more, I'm not happy. Now, a more mature receiver would be like, I got a backup quarterback in here. I'm getting blanketed over here. He's looking to do things. Like, you shouldn't get angry when your backup quarterback's not finding you. Although maybe it works the other way. Maybe you're thinking like, dude, you're a backup quarterback. Just throw the damn ball up. I'll take care of the rest. I don't know. But DK, he didn't have the day that he wanted to have. Let me see what his numbers finished with. You had 2 Niners receivers over 100 yards, 7 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown for Debo, 6 catches, 126 yards for Brandon Ayuk, 3 catches, 76 yards for George Kittle. DK Metcalf had 2 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown, along 31, 5 targets. For a good chunk of that game, though, he was not being targeted. And that's where a lot of his frustration was born from, no doubt. No doubt about it. It's the people's chat. It is the people's chat. Damon, a man of the people. Yeah, I'm not just a man of the super chat. Look at this, spreading the word. I mean, you want to talk about how you help this out? You hit subscribe, you hit like. And word of mouth. Nothing spreads the love like the word of mouth. You got 3 more subscribers in Oregon today, buddy. Sweep them Hawks. We get harassed every week. I bet you do. But look, thank you very much, Chef. And again, if you like what you're seeing, if you like this show, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, tell your circle about it. Subscribe to Damon Bruce Plus. This is not the typical sports show. Because typical sports shows these days are based around inflammatory, hot takes, clickbaity nonsense. It's just not what I do. I couldn't even do it if I wanted to. So I hope you dig it. I really do. And if you don't, well, that's really too bad because I don't have to change for anyone anymore. I can just be me over here. So I thank you very much for wanting this. Please like, subscribe, notify, all those good things, and tell your friends. Share some videos. Push them around. See what happens. Thank you very much. Deuce Ray says, Brock tied the NFL record for most consecutive 70% completion games with Joe Montana. You mean that? I don't know if that's an NFL record or maybe it's the Niner record. I'll have to find that later. Michael says, Damon, can you put up any 49er interviews post game? Well, there's Larry captures stuff off Twitter and plays it. Maybe in year 2. Like, let me get to year 2 of this before I start trying to incorporating video and razzle dazzle. Now, I'm still on the bunny hill, man. I'm still learning how to use this. The fact that I haven't closed out my own screen 5 different times today is a freaking miracle. It really is. I am not the most technologically savvy dude in the room. So, again, the fact that you can hear me and see me right now is amazing. If it weren't for Jillian, you might be able to hear me, but I don't know if you'd see me and I'd probably be fuzzy. All right. What else we got going on here? Because I got all kinds of notes I haven't even gotten into. George Kittle's big play. His big touchdown right after the Seahawks scored in the second half. Kittle made that game 28-16, just 2 plays into the fourth quarter. And that was a point in the game where, hey, it was 21-16. You know, I mean, the Seahawks, if they were going to get back and climb into this afternoon, it was a get the 49ers off the field, get the ball back and do something with it. That didn't happen. Hey, diddle, diddle, George Kittle runs through the middle, and that's his touchdown on the afternoon. That was a big play in this game. Then you had Seattle's, again, first big mistake. That's when Jair Brown, who's done a great job filling in for Talanoa Hufanga. Let's just call it what it is. This kid is a player too. You had the Jair Brown intercepting that lollipop that Drew Lock threw up, looking for one of those DK Metcalf targets. And then it looked like the Niners were really going to pull away. Big pass play to Brandon Ayuk, but Julian Love stripped him. Straight up ripped it right out of his hands. Great play by Julian Love. Julian Love had a good game today. That was a 33-yard tight window throw by Purdy that was, erased by the fumble. And Christian McCaffrey, I think, had the tackle on that. McCaffrey's first play of the game, like right out of the rip, boom. 72 yards going up the field. We saw Jordan Mason today. So Elijah Mitchell, not in the mix today. Jordan Mason gets his name called. He got into the end zone. He ended up with 1 carry for 6 yards and a touchdown. Ta-da, Jordan Mason. Good to see him, though. He's a big guy. Dale thinks Olsen's voice is grating as hell. I don't know. His voice doesn't bother me. And I'm a little bit of a voice snob, as a broadcaster. I like a little bass in that voice, but I just think he's good. I think it doesn't matter what your voice sounds like when your information and your preparation, to me, is that good. And that's what really stands out for me when it comes to Greg Olsen. All right, what else we got going on here today? Slick Nick Mullins won a game today. Yeah, baby. Nick. This is The Shadow of Death Valley. Again, I would recognize that name. Have I ever seen it before? Welcome. You're new here. Thank you for being here. I hope you've subscribed. D. Bruce, I think it was the past NFL draft where one of the networks opened a segment with Rob Riggle making a stupid face on a bus ride to the draft. I immediately was like, nope, and clicked it off. Yeah, I know it's not going to be good. Werewolves of Sanger. It feels funny. You show me on the doll where the Cowboys touched you, right? Rooting for the Cowboys has got to feel weird for Niners fans. Did Jalen Hurts just fumble? Hold on. Are we looking at this? They're reviewing this bad boy? They taking a look at this? Cowboys got a lot of sizzle on their sideline right now. They're up 7-0, 5:42 remaining in the first quarter. And Jalen Hurts has fumbled. Okay. Again, go Cowboys. Feels weird. Go Cowboys. Yeah, he got stripped the same way Brandon Ayuk got stripped, from behind. Who ripped that out? Hell of a play. Seattle's legit, better than their record. Paul Coffey, I'll agree with you. Seattle is not a bad football team. They're good enough to be in a lot of games. They were in this game today with Drew Lock more than they were in the game against the 49ers on Thanksgiving. I really didn't expect that. That's, Pete Carroll deserves an awful lot of credit for the culture that he's laid down. I thought that both these teams suffered big injuries that changed the game plan and how good either team could really be in this game today. When Mooney Ward went down with an injury, which we'll still learn the details of, and you had Witherspoon going down with an injury. The young corner for the Seahawks, he's a really good player. And when he went down and didn't come back, I felt like that opened up some big play opportunity. And boy, did the 49ers make a bunch of big plays in their passing game. Again, 2 wide receivers over 125 yards and a career high passing day for Brock Purdy, 368 yards. I want to invite you again back here for Niners Wake Up. 49ers Wake Up, a special 8:30 Monday morning start time. I got to drop off the boys at school and daycare because Jillian's on a work trip starting tomorrow. She wakes up at like 5 in the morning. She's off to the airport. She's going to be in New York for a week. So I'm on dad duty, which means I got to drop the boys off. She normally handles that during 49ers Wake Up, but I got to do it tomorrow. So we're going to have an 8:35 start time for 49ers Wake Up. I hope you join me and Larry Krueger. It's a show that is simulcast on our channels. And again, we are both very good live post-game reacting to everything that just happened. But you give us a night to sift through some statistics, really get our talking points together. That 49ers Wake Up show is the biggest morning show in the Bay Area right now, and it's growing by the day, by the week, by the ridiculous radio station firing after galactically unpopular move that each of these stations move and make today. They drove their audience to me. And I thank so many of you for being new members and in here today, and hopefully you enjoyed what we did today. And again, if you want to enjoy a better quality of life, I'm going to put up his information one more time for you to see here in this show. Orthopedicsurgeries.com, Dr. Paul Hughes. This man has worked for the Rams, the Cardinals, the Blues. He is a sports medicine specialist. He is a finely trained orthopedic surgeon who decided that these surgeries, for the most part, are unnecessary with the stem cell and cellular replacement that he has. Basically, he took fat out of my love handle, put it in a centrifuge, spun it around, got the DNA goodness out of it, and pumped it into my knee. And my knee went from barking at me with every step, especially walking up or down the stairs, to today I carried my Christmas tree inside my house up my steep stairs by myself. I was fine. I just trooped right up. My knee didn't bark at me once. That's all Dr. Paul Hughes. If you're looking for a non-invasive solution to joint pain, contact Dr. Paul Hughes. Offices in San Bruno. Go find out for yourself. 650-242-5633. Information is info@orthopedicsurgeries.com. Thanks again to Dr. Paul Hughes for sponsoring what I do. Thanks to all of you for being a big part of what I do. You daily plusers, you're fantastic. What a community you've allowed this to become. Again, all I can do is put up the tent. It's up to you to come into the circus. And I thank you for doing it. Michelle Haberman, one of our OGs, saying, Damon, listening on my car ride home after a fantastic Niner win over the Hawks, just like the old days. Yeah, Michelle's checking in, going to games. It's great stuff. Look, I don't like Levi Stadium, but Niners fans enjoyed their time in there today. There's no doubt. When the team is good, it doesn't matter what the stadium is, I guess. A good football team cures all poorly designed stadia, I guess. Super Vega 211. Damon, that's why we're here for you. We're all here for your sexy voice, not your Seth Rogen looks. Thank you. Thanks very much. I appreciate the honesty. 82 Atlantic, Damon. How about the Bears? How about them Bears beating up on the Lions? I always knew that Dan Campbell was fool's gold. Look, I don't know if he was fool's gold, but he didn't have a good day today, did he?
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Not today, he didn't. Not today, he didn't. And that Lions loss makes the Niners win that much more of a lean forward moment and would make a Cowboys win over the Eagles a seriously lean forward moment. Damon, you should give the time zone because some of us are not in the West Coast. But Dale, if you know that I am in the time zone that is the West Coast, do I have to give it to you? No, I hear you. You're right. I got to think way beyond local radio now. And when I give times, I need to put the time zone on it. 8:30 Monday morning Pacific time. Wake up, 49er Wake Up, Damon Bruce and Larry Krueger. We hope to see you there. And then I will be doing my solo show at 11 a.m. as well, right here on the Plus. And then from both shows, we extract the videos that will hopefully be dazzling you all week long. And again, while Jillian is gone, you're all in charge. Please keep Damon in check while I'm gone. Plusers, it's on you. Thank you. There are other morning shows in the Bay? No, not anymore. Thank you. Zothmus. Oh, here's the thing. This is not just me bragging. Look at the wife and saying, Damon speaks the truth. I was so surprised. He carried the tree in all by himself. How about that? So there it is, my friends. There it is. Another convincing 49ers win 28-16 over their division rival, bringing them to 5-1 at home overall this year. The only loss coming to the Cincinnati Bengals. A 10-3 overall record. The only other NFC. Hold on, let me get this right. I want to get this right. Let me open up the standings. I believe I do have this right, but I want to just double confirm it with my own eyeballs before I say it out loud and into the microphone. The only other team in the NFC with 10 wins is playing the Dallas Cowboys tonight and currently trailing 7-0. So the 49ers would be in the same boat with the Philadelphia Eagles with a game in hand over them. And still an awful long road to hoe before you can even start thinking about a 1 seed. But the opportunity would open itself for possibility if the Eagles lose on Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. So we will see if indeed that does happen. Again, this was a Trent Williams game for the Niners. He just came out and put the hurting on an awful lot of people. Drew Lock gave the Niners probably more than they expected. But when it was all said and done, Brock Purdy more than overcame his one turnover for an afternoon where he sets a personal career day passing. Brock Purdy throwing for, excuse me again, I want to get this right. What did I say? 356 yards? 368 yards. So sorry. 368 yards. Don't take anything away from Brock Purdy. You can't take anything away from the Niners after a win like this. You can't take anything away from the greatest morning show that is going to arrive 8:30 a.m. West Coast time. I want you to go ahead and be there for 49ers Wake Up on my channel. There's an 11 a.m. show West Coast time on my channel as well. I want to remind you one more time, if you are in San Francisco, the Bay Area, and need a Christmas tree, get to the Guardsman Tree Lot. It's a great charitable donation towards a great cause, and I do hope you would considering giving to the Guardsman, guardsman.org. This great t-shirt, this vintage year that the Niners moved into San Francisco, not moved, but were born, 1946. It's available at Jack's San Francisco, jackssf.com. It is the coolest vintage t-shirt store you're going to see, jackssf.com. And when you do indeed check out at jackssf.com, use promo code DamonBruce10 for 10% off your purchase. You can get all of your holiday shopping done. The coolest vintage t-shirts you're ever going to find concerning Bay Area sports are there at Jack's. As always, thanks to Dr. Paul Hughes. Thanks to Ike's, my man, who did all he could to get Shohei Ohtani into town. It wasn't enough. Neither he, his sandwiches, nor the Giants or their money could get the Giants to come to town, could get Shohei Ohtani to come to San Francisco. And so he's a Dodger for $700 million. And we'll talk about that a little bit more at 11 a.m. after we go through another strong couple hours of football coverage and 49ers wake up. And we want to, again, thank Uncle Boys. We'll get all our sponsors in here today on the way out. Uncle Boys, wonderful, wonderful San Francisco business. You can go ahead and get a burger, try the lumpia and the onion rings, an Inner Richmond original, a San Francisco original on Balboa. And what's that, like 2nd and 3rd or 4th, right over there? Uncle Boys, great place to get a burger. Ike's, great place to get a sandwich. When you eat too much and need your knees replaced, Dr. Paul Hughes is a great place to get that taken care of. And hopefully this was a great place for you to come and be amongst like-minded sports fans with a host who's not here to bullshit you. And hopefully you dug it. I thank you so much for being a part of this. Again, we will be back. We will be back at the 2-minute warning of every single Niner game. I don't care if they're playing on Christmas or on New Year's Eve. We're going to be right here for that. So we'll spend the holidays together. We'll bring the whole family down. We'll maybe get some cookies and milk together. It'll be a grand old party. It'll be great. Dale says, Damon, thank you for the great show, for spending some time with us. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Dale, it was my pleasure. And I thank you so very, very much for being a part of this. Again, it's all new to me. It's all growing. We're not even through our first year together here on YouTube, and it's already done some things that I'm very, very proud of, as is the podcast. You're going to get that podcast, the Damon Bruce Plus, available anywhere you get your podcasts. And this Postgame and Damon show is about 15, 20 minutes away from appearing in the podcast verse. I'm going to post that right away. Going to make it a 2-parter since this was nearly 2 hours. I thank you for all of this. I really, really do. Thank you for being here with me. And I want you to, no matter how weird it feels, root for the Cowboys tonight. It's what you need, Niners fans. And what you need to know is that you don't have to go home now. You just can't stay here. And I'm very proud to always remind you that sports don't build character, they reveal it.